All right, we are back and ready with our next matches. Poizon versus HBOL, game number 2 in this best of 3. Will Poizon be able to seal it up, or will we be going to a game number 3?
Yeah, and I mean, HBOL, the pressure is really on at this point because this is a loser's bracket game. This is double elimination, and he's down a game. So he can do nothing but win if he wants to stay in this tournament right now.
And it gives Poizon a little bit of comfort, maybe the ability to do a build maybe she's not as comfortable with, maybe something a little riskier, but also at the same time, you won a game, do something you're comfortable with also, and just seal it up.
That's right, yeah. I mean, the fewer games that you have to play, usually the better.
Yep, absolutely. And here we are in game number 2 of this match here between HBOL and Poizon as I pre-introduce the players, as I like to do frequently before we do introductions. But in the 9 o'clock position, our Pink Terran, the second round we've seen today out of him with some impressive play. His name is HBOL.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, the red Protoss player, it is Poizon.
So let us know who you're rooting for, Team Poizon in chat or Team HBOL. Let us know if your opinion has changed between games, as this is a fairly big map here.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I actually really like the octopus kind of in the middle there. Is that an octopus? Are there 8 legs?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Looks like there's 7 legs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 legs. Maybe the 8th one is like behind the head.
We'll just pretend that that's what's going on there so that it's anatomically correct.
So HBOL, 2 out of 3 games so far has gone for Reapers. The first game we saw out of him today, he went for a quick expand. It seems a little bit more comfortable with the Reaper play. I'm not sure, but we have not seen a gas out of him yet, or the inklings of a barracks. And his minerals are growing, so I'm looking like we're going to see a little bit of a quick expand here as gas and gateway going down for Poizon.
Yeah, it looks like HBOL is going to be doing that expansion after all. And
so honestly, you know, you've seen what HBOL can do. You know he likes the drops. You know he likes to harass you. I feel like Poizon dealt with that really well last game. Like there were a couple times where it's like, oh no, if this drop lands, she's just straight dead. And that really went in her favor. So I honestly think that's what kind of turned the tides the last game. We'll see if HBOL can make it happen this time. We'll see. But honestly, Poizon didn't really get a whole lot of harassment done on HBOL last game.
Not so much. I mean, she was able to get the superior army and capitalize on some key engagements.
Yeah. Both wins in separate columns here as Cybernet's score is going down. She definitely likes to keep her structures here kind of protected in the back of her base, which I feel like kind of helped her out a little bit last game, as those drops didn't really able to find any super important tech structures kind of dangling out in the open there, able to be picked like low-hanging fruit.
That's right. This probe is getting a lot of good scouting data right now, is able to see double racks being built. There wasn't SCV chasing it, but decided, you know what, this is just waste mining time as you're going around in circles. I'm going back to work.
Indeed it is. I mean, I personally hate scouts, so I'll pretty much pull all my workers to kill it no matter what. But that's definitely not a recommended play in a game where you actually want to win. Double gas here now going down for Poizon as her expansion is about a third of the way completed. She did see the expansion from HBOL and as a reaction decided to put down her own. Always a good play. Looks like she's maybe going to put down some kind of pylon here. Maybe not. Just kind of taking the scenic route.
Skirting around.
Oh, that's an awful sneaky path there, but that Marine has that probe's number. Yeah, for sure looking to put down a pylon or something down there, but was not able to sneak in. Oh my. Oh, a probe able to juke the Marine, and he's going to be able to get away to live another day. So that's pretty handy for Poizon. So if she does want to put down a pylon of some kind, she doesn't have to sacrifice another probe to do that.
Right, yeah, and I mean, with the size of this map as well, like it would take a while to get another probe over there.
And this is a pretty good hiding spot. It's kind of hard to see there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so far, honestly, I've been really impressed with the Protoss players. The one thing that I'd say has contributed to every victory we've seen so far from Protoss is observers.
Observers have been really key. I mean, they've been getting a lot more vision. They've been scouting out attack paths and being able to see things coming well enough to position their units in a way that really gives them the upper hand in the battle.
HBOL here still has not quite found his opponent. He scouted up in the top right first, now is headed down to the bottom, so he really still has no clue what's going on. Especially with that probe sneaking around, that can always leave you feel a little bit uncomfortable. But soon enough, he's going to be down there. 3 barracks, 1 tech lab on the way with Marines and Stimpack. Pretty early Stimpack here, too, especially considering the expansion. He is getting fully saturated here as well, so kind of macro openings here. But the SCV is going to, looks like it's make its way up here. Stalker walks the opposite direction.
Yeah, I think she was maybe expecting a Reaper to come in, even though it was pretty late for one.
So the SCV is able to see what it wants to see. It sees a few gateways and a robo. Observer's now coming up for Poizon, which I love. Honestly, if you can keep track of your opponent, it gives you such an upper hand. You don't have to use scans to be able to see what's going on like the Terran does. So that's worked out for her in the past. We'll see if HBOL decides to look around for those observers a little more. It's not something he's really done so far.
Not at all. Yeah, I don't think he's killed, like, intentionally killed a single one, I don't think.
Nope. But so far, pretty standard stuff out of HBOL. Looks like the factory is coming down. That's actually a little bit later factory than he's usually done. Last few games, he's kind of put down a barracks factory and a quick starport to get a mine drop out. But maybe he's a little bit concerned about oracles or something this time. He did put down a turret in each of his mineral lines, maybe thinking that Poizon was going to switch it up a little bit. But that's something we haven't seen so far today as a Stargate.
That's right. So now there is a Bioforce moving across the map. The observer is right on top of it, wants to keep eyes on what is happening there.
Absolutely, and once again, that observer being absolutely critical. She's able to prepare here, knows it's coming, warp in the appropriate units. It's like a sentry, a few zealots, and a stalker moving the mothership core into position. But HBOL, where's he going, man? He's taking
the long way around.
Taking quite the long way here. Maybe hoping to avoid some of those observers.
Potentially.
But definitely taking the long way around here. But Poizon, man, she's got her observers in exactly the key spots, putting them right over every single ramp and path that could. Where is he? He knows that.
I think that he's worried about a proxy. I think that he's
okay.
worried about some kind of hidden tech.
That's an awful lot of units to scout for a proxy with. Oh, that's fine. Just delaying the attack here a little bit. But Poizon is going to see it coming up, as she does have the observer here. +1 armor is coming down for HBOL, as well as a lot of Marines. 7 Marines producing at a time. Twilight Council coming down for Poizon as well. Looking like she's going to go for kind of a similar build as last time, sort of a blink, zealot charge, maybe Colossus.
Well, there's already Colossus out on the field, so I'd say there's definitely Colossus.
Yeah, so there's that. She has been a little bit, taking her time a little bit getting the extended thermal lances, and it doesn't seem like a mistake. It seems like she's doing that to be able to get other complementary tech at the same time. Man, HBOL is really worried about a proxy and extra bases.
Maybe he's scouting for pylons, but I mean, he's not really looking in the right positions.
A lot of army to scout for pylons.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, but I mean, look at the observer of the view of Poizon here. I mean, she has such great vision on the map. She can see everywhere. Now she's seeing with this probe here that HBOL is heading back towards his base, so the threat is complete. Blink is going down, Colossus on the way, but still no extended thermal lance as last time. Maybe saving up that money for the Blink research, more gateways, as that has seemed to work out well in the past for her so far. Chrono boosting that Blink, so she definitely wants to get some aggression on here.
Scouting factory making its way across, slow and lumbering.
Once again, HBOL moving out here. Looked like he was coming down, but decided to go off to the right. The observer did see it all. There is a third base going down, so he must smell that in the air. But again, these observers keep harping on that, but they are literally saving the day here for Poizon. It looks like she's going to lose this base, but she knows exactly where the army is and does not get the cancel. So that's 400, 500 minerals she will not see again. But HBOL at the same time does not have an expansion yet. Moving up with the scouting factory to see what kind of army composition is here. Only a few stalkers, so that will remain there for now. Drop up into the main base as well.
So she blinks forward to try and get up there. The Marines do stim and immediately pull back into the medevac, and they boost on out of there.
Taking some damage on those medevacs though, as he stims up and moves up the natural expansion. Poizon is a little bit worried still about the main base, as he's now trying to take out this Nexus. Photon overcharge is down, Colossus coming down, and the factory lands to block that ramp a bit and delay.
Yeah, this is a really good two-pronged attack, but and there he goes. He's moving back in with the medevac. I was about to say it would be really good if he was able to move back in there because he is going to lose that other army, but sure enough, there they drop.
Moving out, though. Oh, she does decide to turn out. But the thing is, though, if HBOL loses this army, he doesn't have a whole lot. Supply is actually it's 130 to 105 in favor of HBOL.
Oh my goodness, and those Colossus just did heavy, heavy damage to those Marines. Only 3 Marines and 1 Marauder made it out of there alive.
Yeah, so it looks like the HBOL does have a little bit of a decent army up here, but I mean, the firepower is definitely in the favor of Poizon right now, even though the supply count is not.
And now, as well, he's got 1 starport, so he wants to make medevacs, but he also needs to make Vikings as well. He lost his factory, so that's being in the process of being rebuilt, and he's really in a tough position here.
The high ground advantage for the Colossus is huge, as the Colossus are up on the cliff, the bio all on the bottom. Nice blink down to take out some of these medevacs.
And in they boost away. 2 Zealots did get warped in, but not to much avail.
Oh, and there is a pylon right up here by this. If she was to warp in a couple stalkers, she could take out that, but she doesn't know that because she can't see it. Oh, and HBOL doesn't see it either. But there's attack in the main base, a small drop, 3 Marines and 1 Marauder. But Poizon says, screw it, I'm going for it. Runs right up the ramp. Those Zealots tanking all the damage. Colossus standing in the back. Oh, but there is a force from the back coming and taking out all the Colossus.
Oh my, and now the Protoss army is being pincered here. Colossus do go down. The Zealots are going to get cleaned up here, so with minimal losses, HBOL was able to clean up that army and defend his base.
Yeah, that really, really turned the tides of this game here, as now the supply is 120 to 50. So HBOL now looking to be in a really good position as Poizon is just establishing her natural expansion once again. Looking at the units lost, 19 SCVs. I'm sorry, 19 probes to 10 SCVs and 41 Marines. So definitely a lot of army losses for HBOL, but a little bit more on the economy for Poizon as a base was taken out. But at the same time, HBOL's main base is basically mined out.
But HBOL does have double the supply of his opponent right now, and you always want to be in a situation where you can double the supply of your opponent.
He seems very cautious, though. I mean, now Poizon is putting down a remote third base here up at the top.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, she knows she's behind. She knows she needs to do something that's a little bit risky, a little bit crazy to try and get back into this.
Yeah.
And with as scrappy as the last game, I mean, that might actually work out really well for her.
Yeah, and HBOL, honestly, I mean, if he was going to attack, he needs to do it, like, right now, because Poizon still has a lot of production here, and she can still make all of her tech things. She just doesn't have the money for it at the moment. I mean, she does have a Colossus, 2 Zealots, and Stalkers here. It looks like he's going to make a push here up the cliff.
And that observer, saw that army coming right in. He does scan, so there's some idea that he's intending to move in here and doesn't really see anything. So I think that he's a little bit worried that, where could everything be? But there's just really not anything to find at this point.
Yeah, she's fairly contained here at the moment. But now he's just going to walk right up the ramp, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, and all of her army is really in the back of her base. It's going to be a long run for her to get over there. And all of these probes, they're not even being pulled. I'm not sure where she's looking right now. That Nexus does go down. The probes are continuing to mine and then just return back to the main base. The army is just now deciding to wake up and move forward, but realizing that it can't really engage you right there.
Yeah, honestly, this is not looking super good right now. I mean, we've seen players come back from this kind of deficit, but it is HBOL is at 193 supply allocation.
So
he is just skyrocketing in that supply.
One behind, there is a phrase.
Oh, yes.
And we do see that happening in the northern area.
It is interesting. I mean, he could load up right now in all these medevacs and just fly into Poizon's base, but he's really playing this cautiously because I think he had a few bad engagements last game, and I think that's kind of worked out to him this game to be a little bit more cautious. But, I mean, he's just not attacking. He's kind of going back here, but we'll see if this this thing finishes here. I don't want to give any secrets away.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot of gateways, though. And even if there are, like, there's static defense that will be able to detect that type of thing.
This is a nice little engagement here for Poizon, but still not able to get a lot done. Able to take out a couple medevacs. Loses all the Zealots, but is able to keep the Stalker and Colossus. But looks like HBOL is like, why am I running from this? I'm going to chase you down.
Yeah, really just bringing his 2 groups of army together and marching right across the map. And look at all these Marauders. I mean, there's just a ton of these things.
And Poizon is still here, remote mining. And I think after losing a couple games, HBOL is definitely in it to win it this game. He's moving up the ramp with the final push.
Yeah, so many probes are going down, the ones that were remote mining, and the the Vikings are moving forward and taking out everything. Oh, that Mothership Core was able to get off a Photon Overcharge before it being taken out, but, I mean, it's one little laser zap per second, it seems. It's not really going to do a whole lot to stop this army. And now, without any gateways, I mean, you can't really warp anything in.
No, I mean, Poizon's definitely not going to be able to turn this game around at this point. She does still have her remote base up there, but not going to be able. This army of HBOL is pretty substantial at 186 supply, and looking at the upgrades, looks like he has 2-2 completed as well as +1 vehicle plating. So he's just going to finish taking out these buildings and wonder why she's not revealed.
Well, those probes are playing a little bit of spy game here. They were able to get out, and they're trying to make their way. I mean, this is like the Underground Railroad right now, right? Like they're trying to get back to safety without being found out.
Yeah, there is a DT here in the natural of HBOL, however, he is able to take that out. But I mean, actually, HBOL is not doing a whole lot of mining himself right now. Only the mining is actually equal for both players because his natural expansion is mined out as well as his main. So, and Poizon is just going to go ahead and GG.
So now that puts us at 1-1 in this match. So HBOL is able to take a game, save his tournament life. He needs to win the next one to be able to move on, but Poizon is also on the line. So it's really down to the wire for both of these players if they want to stay in this tournament.
Yep, this is a loser bracket match, so this is very important. As you said, both players, it seemed like HBOL took something away from the last game, though. It seemed like a very more calculated play style. He was not too anxious to take an engagement that wasn't appropriate.
Right.
And that wasn't a good engagement to take. A lot more cautious moving around the map, scouting for those proxies. And honestly, we saw kind of the same type of build out of Poizon. I think maybe going into game number 3, you should want to take it up, change it up a little bit because I think HBOL has got the number on that build now. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to know one game to the next what's actually going to happen until we see what comes out of the player. And I think that you're absolutely right with HBOL just being a lot more cautious that game. I think that he felt like he made a lot of mistakes the first game and wanted to take extra care to make sure that those mistakes weren't made again. Didn't want to lose to anything silly. I mean, he knew that his tournament life was on the line. So now he's stabilized a little bit, and I think that putting your opponent on an even keel with yourself gives yourself a momentum boost, and you're really kind of ready to move forward into the next thing. So I'd say that all things aside, HBOL has a bit of an advantage, if nothing else, from momentum and kind of, just the spark of the win.
Momentum means a lot, too. And, it's also, the endorphins and adrenaline from winning a game, especially if you're not used to playing. You don't play in these type of tournament formats every day.
Right.
Can really mean a lot because you get yourself juiced up. But also at the same time, I know, like, when I'm playing in something really important like that, like, it almost does too much. Like your heart's just beating out of your chest. You can't control your